gonna tickle it. I was just gonna tickle
2.
it. Are we live?
Yes,
All
we're
right.
live.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Film Fumbler Show. Today we're going to be talking about Dr. Sleep, a movie released in 2019, directed by Mike Flannery, and it is based off the Stephen King book of the same name. It is a sequel to The Shining. Let's dive in. I think first things first, we're going to, as we've grown accustomed, we're going to take this shot. Does anyone know exactly what this is even called? It's just TX whiskey.
Texas whiskey. Texas whiskey.
Texas whiskey. All right, let's
Cheers.
do this. James, are you in on this?
I'm in on this,
Ooh.
man.
Listen to those
There you go.
ASMR clanks, dude.
This stuff is good, man. I'm not a whiskey guy, but
That is smooth, though.
It's good. Wasn't as good as it was on Saturday, but
yeah.
still pretty good.
Well, we were probably like 6 hours deep. Saturday.
Very true.
Yeah, so let's get right into this movie.
Well, wait a minute.
What?
My name is Taryn.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. They are okay, yeah. All right, so my name's Adrian,
I'm Jay.
I'm James.
There you go.
and then your turn again.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. Jesus Christ, guys. So yeah, we've run into quite some audio issues at the beginning of this, so we're all a little bit like,
This whole day has been a mess.
let's just hit record and fucking figure it out.
I
This
had,
probably
like,
sounds like shit.
17 fucking red lights on the way in.
Yeah,
It's been
we're
a long
filming in
day.
like a new scenery too. We're in our new studio.
I don't have my normal mic. It's been a whole problem.
Well, he had to bust
too.
out the gold one.
Yeah.
Oh,
The,
just the gold one.
The Yeti broke, so shoutouts to Blue Yeti, who's now owned by Logitech. Been dealing with your customer service for about a week.
Well,
Kind of not the best. Let's just say that.
we really made a mistake by going for USB mics. I think is what it's every day or every time we record. It's like
It's
a
okay.
deal. But
We'll get there.
yeah, we'll get there. Okay, so back to the movie. So I just wanted to say that I really wanted to like this movie a lot, and I fucking did. Fuck you guys. I know you guys like already hate this movie. I love this movie.
Wow.
I fucking really enjoyed this movie.
Oh,
I think I mean, God, I feel like I'm already going into my review of the movie or like my rating.
All right, just broad.
I think that it gave you everything that you wanted for a sequel like this. And what I will say is going into this movie, you have to just let it take you. Like, you have to just be like, all right, we're doing this. Like, we're going into this mystical, magical world, and like, let's just let it take me for a ride and see how it goes.
Do we have to do it this way, though?
I loved it.
Do we have to be
I liked
taken
it a lot.
through it
So
in that specific
and
way?
I granted, I don't think there's been a movie on here that we've talked about that I haven't liked, except for maybe Bad Times, but that was a train wreck. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just too easy on movies. I just like things. Fucking sue me, man. I liked the movie.
I will see you.
Yeah, I know. Expect a letter in the mail.
Subpoena. I don't know.
Just at a high level, I thought that The Shining. So seeing The Shining in theaters was probably a blessing for the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time that we watched The Shining, I was just like glued in the world. I was like, what the fuck is gonna happen next? All that shit. This movie didn't really have the same feeling. It kind of, I love that they did maybe too many callbacks to The Shining, right? There was
Okay.
so many things from The Shining, but it just didn't have the same feeling. I wasn't sucked into this world all the time. There was parts where I was, and it was very cool.
Yeah.
But then I'd just be like waiting for the next sucking to happen. You know what I mean? Both literally and
The
figuratively
sucking.
in this fucking case.
We saw it together, so you weren't gonna
literally sucking.
Oh, Jesus.
Vape on some little children's souls. Yeah.
All right, James, let's hear how much you hated this fucking movie.
There was there was really enjoyable parts, and there was really fucking gut wrenching. Not in like, oh wow, it was so profound. It's just like, oh my god, why are they doing this like this? It's so like stupid. And I agree with Jay where he said like what was the point? I'm gonna jump ahead. Like, why did they even like show some of the parts of The Shining, some of those like iconic scenes, like when they added like the bloody elevator scene? They just like randomly show it, and it like she just looks at it. It's just like,
nice.
Dude.
it's just like this is.
That's
She's
how
like, they remember that
This
one.
is like a cheap,
Exactly.
yeah. It's like a
Exactly.
cheap ploy to like.
No, there was a lot of that.
Not to say that nostalgia is like marketable, which it is, but
It
like,
is, yeah.
But
Yeah.
like this was just like it felt like a fan film,
It 100%
fan
was.
fiction film.
Let's see if we can
Like it was like
recreate all this.
let's bring it back into that world.
Yes.
Let's tap back into that world, and then like it was just like, why?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just why did they want to? I mean, obviously Stephen King wanted to tap back into that world because he thought there was something else to say about that world, but the movie didn't.
And there was, I mean...
Yeah, there was. I mean, I think there was interesting parts. Like I said, there were some really good parts, and there were some really parts that just didn't.
Well, I'll let Taryn go ahead. I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Yeah, so overall, it was so close. I was like, this is almost good, and then it just didn't land.
Oh man, I'm
stick the
3v1
landing.
right
It did
here.
not stick the landing at all for me, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm ready to take all three of you. I really am.
Hey, we're not gonna gang up on you. We're not
No,
gonna do
you
that.
already have. I mean,
Hey, don't take it personally, okay?
okay, so I will admit that they really played into like, oh, let's like show them like, hey, you guys remember The Shining, right? Like, and they did that maybe too much to their detriment. I think, like you said, the wine or the blood scene. I guess I don't know what it is. The elevator.
Yeah.
Red wine blood thing.
Her face. She just looks at it.
Well, no, but
Just
that.
kidding.
Anyway. And then the recasting of Wendy and Jack Torrance was really weird. I didn't like that. I mean, there was things that I didn't like about this movie, but I was very like, I ignored those. I was like, okay, I get it. They're not gonna, I think what was weird was when they reshot like the scenes where like Jack is breaking through the door. They used the new actors.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even really notice.
It was a split second, but I'm fairly certain they used the new actors.
Did they?
Yeah, they did the
Yeah.
whole time.
And it was just like, dude, just take the old, like, just throw in the old scene.
No, don't do it at all. We all know the
Or don't
fucking
do it at all.
movie. We don't need to see
Sure.
that.
Well,
Why do we
okay.
need to see that? Oh, it's that door. Watch out. Here
Yeah.
comes
Right.
Johnny. We
But
don't
this
know
is
that.
also,
Come on. That's
we
cheap.
saw that movie like not that long ago. When did the movie actually come out?
I guess.
1979?
I guess.
That's a long fucking time.
But
It
that's
just-
iconic scene. It's
It
like
is.
one of
It
the
is.
most
100%.
iconic movie scenes of all time.
100%.
Yeah.
But to speak to that a little bit more, something I noticed when we sat down in the theater and we watched 30 fucking minutes of ads.
Jesus.
Their audience was relatively old.
Dude, yeah.
Like,
I was like,
50
most of
plus.
these people were
Oh,
probably
really?
there for the fucking first one. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like they
that's
probably
true.
were our age when the first movie came out, and they were like, "Oh shit, let's go see this fucking sequel." So
they
that
probably
was
haven't watched
interesting.
it since
Yeah,
then or
yeah.
anything.
Yeah. And
That's fair,
there
yeah.
was like a whole squad in front of us. Like,
So then, on that
Senior-
note, then
Boomer
you could make
squad.
the argument that it was important to reintroduce those scenes. To,
maybe.
Right, because like we literally just watched that movie.
I
If
guess,
you haven't
yeah.
seen that movie in
Yes.
40 years,
But
when
it
came
worked
out,
well sometimes, but not all the time.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the recasting of I think the actress who played Wendy
At the
was
beginning.
it was just like I was like, oh my god, you're trying so hard. You're obviously a beautiful woman, not Wendy, like not the original Wendy,
Right.
And like she's like Jack, like it was just so weird. I was like,
When she's
"Don't
running
do
out to
this."
the beach, she's just literally just doing that run and
Again.
like, doing the voice. I'm
Again.
like,
I was like, please,
you
we
still
know-
do that? Like, come
I know.
on.
Yeah.
What I
Well,
did,
it's only been a couple months.
Honestly,
I
it's
think.
better
Oh,
than
right,
fucking
right.
CGIing them or some fucking
that's what
stupid
I was
read.
shit.
I was
That's
I don't want to
true.
see no
I don't
CGI
know.
fucking Jack Nicholson.
I
The
think
bar
that's
scene,
true.
I was
Dude, they could
preparing
just
myself
deep-
for that.
They could just deep fake it, man.
And I wish,
They could just
I
have-
kind of wish it was that instead.
It was
What,
Jack
deep
Nicholson.
fake?
that it was CG'd.
De-aged.
Oh,
De-aged,
really?
Not Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
Oh, yeah.
so like this is what I really wanted to see Jack Nicholson somewhere.
Yeah.
Right somewhere, and maybe he is
A
in there
cameo or
somewhere,
something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't see him, and for me, like the new Star Wars, like him or not, when Mark Hamill's face shows up on screen, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I wanted that same feeling with this movie, and it didn't happen, and it made me a little bit sad.
See, this is, I think, where everything starts with why I don't like it that much is this movie is more of a sequel to the book than it is the movie.
That's yeah.
And,
That's true.
what the fuck is his name? Stephen King was, like, pretty involved with this movie, Dr. Sleep,
Oh, okay.
and, like, trying to make shit whatever he wanted or whatever. I'm just
Mhm.
like, if you're trying to do that, just change everything. Why are you just going to the same exact things, doing the same fucking scenes, like the same movements and all this stuff? It was just really weird that they didn't just choose one or the other. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I think
Yeah.
the argument for that is again like nostalgia sells. Like that shit will just fucking like look at Star Wars, like so much of what Star Wars is a lot of the newer like Disney renditions of Star Wars have not been very great. But you're going to there's my kitty. You're going to watch them. You know, like you're going to go out and watch those movies, and it's kind of maybe how Doctor Sleep was, which isn't a great thing, but it's just kind of a reality of like where we are right now.
I think that when you compare something like Star Wars to The Shining, it just doesn't stack. Like, nostalgia does sell, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
And I'm sure The Shining was like a big movie in its heyday, but it wasn't fucking Star Wars big, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, that's the trend right now, is like, let's just shove everything you've already seen right back down there and charge you like double for
Full
it.
admission, yeah, or
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair.
What I will say though is, it's just as like this is like an overarching thing, not any particular scene or that kind of deal. I didn't like how they kind of. So The Shining was cool because nothing was explained. Everything was just like, this is what is fucking happening. You can kind of take that as you will. They're going insane. They're supernatural. Maybe it's a little bit of both. This movie like just was like, here's actually what it is, and also like I'm just gonna make like these like, oh, it's like you're battling your inner demons or you know, whatever it might be. Like they just spelled it out too much. It felt a little bit too like adventure.
Yeah.
It's like here's
hero-y.
actual people representing the bad stuff instead of just letting
Yeah.
you not
Yeah.
see it or like
Exactly. And that kind of killed it for me. I was like, it kind of took me out.
Dude.
Like, I don't know. It wasn't as good.
What did you say? It felt like an action adventure movie.
It felt like an adventure
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, like they were going on a mission. It was
Yeah.
heroes on a mission.
Yeah.
It's something we've seen
Yeah.
a million fucking times.
Yeah.
Where
It-
The Shining was like, this is crazy. I've never seen something
You're
like this.
stuck
like,
in one spot. This movie
Yeah.
like was all over the fucking
Dude, the
place.
first
It was all
like
over the
20
place.
minutes, I was like, where are we? Like there was like 5 different title
Like,
screens of
locations
cities. I was
and
like,
shit.
what's
Yeah.
happening?
And they tried to use the title screens, right? Which was a big deal in The Shining. But it worked well in The Shining.
But it was
because
just
gave
a
you
black
a sense of
screen,
time.
right?
It was like 4 months, 5 months, 3 days, 2 days.
Yeah.
It just got shorter and
Yeah.
shorter.
Yeah.
And this was just like, we're in this city, we're in that city, we're in this city. And I
Across
was like,
the
where
country,
the
I'm
fuck
like-
are we going?
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I get why. I get the why. I just don't
Yeah.
think it worked that well.
I mean, and I agree with you that it definitely took away, in some ways it took away a lot of the mysticism from The Shining. Like, because in The Shining we're just like, is this magic? Is
Yes.
this, just somebody going insane?
Right.
How did he get out of the food cellar kind of thing? And in this movie, maybe, I don't know, maybe it wasn't a great move, but I liked it. Just, it explained everything. It was like, here's actually what this is. And I could see it not being for everyone, for sure. Like, I could see,
I
I can
just didn't really like it.
understand
Yeah.
completely you guys' criticisms of it.
Yeah.
I think the fear from the first movie was you didn't know what it was, you didn't know
Right.
what was
Right.
going to happen.
Which is
Now
what they
it's just
had
like-
back in the 70s, 80s. Like, it was, I mean, look at, like, other movies like Alien or, like, just other horror films where it was like, we're not going to definitively show you the monster or whatever it is. We're just,
Right.
like, the unknown is what's scary,
Yep.
is what The Shining had. And I think this movie was maybe a little bit more modern in that it was just like, we're going to show you everything because we can and we are. And it maybe explained a little too much and it took away from what the horror of what The Shining brought.
It's like I forget what movie it is, but it's like, you fear what you don't understand. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah. Yeah.
And what I did like
Was that
about
Christopher
this
Walken?
movie,
That-
it might be Christopher Walken.
It sounds like
It is Christopher Walken.
It sounds like Christopher Walken.
I don't remember what movie it is.
Joe Dirt.
It's a great film, man.
What I did like about this movie, though, and maybe this is controversial, but what I think they did just a little bit better of a job doing in this movie than in The Shining is making the Overlook a character and not necessarily just a setting.
Mm.
Like it sprang to life.
Yeah.
It was dead and it kind of sprang to life, and the lights would, increase with whoever was in there with the most kind of shine on them. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
was cool. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Yeah.
I wish there was more of that in the original. But it
When
was
we go wake it up, I was like, oh
yeah,
shit.
wake it up.
Yeah.
That was sick. That shit was awesome.
That is controversial, though.
Maybe it is
No,
controversial.
no, it's I
No,
I get what you're
that's
saying.
fair.
I get what
think
you're
it's a
saying.
fair take.
There was other things about this movie that I enjoyed. I did like Danny's character, like how he kind of was just like some. So go to the beginning of the movie. He's just like some drug addict. Like he's he's an alcoholic and
yeah. Going back to the
and-
book again too.
what's that?
Going back to like being more based off the book too.
Oh, is
he's
that?
all-
I have nothing. I have no idea.
Well, because
Yeah, I
in
don't know
the
anything about
first
the
one,
book.
Jack is
Oh,
super
right.
alcoholic.
Yeah, Jack is.
so
yeah.
it gives him more of a tie to him. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, he was just, like really off the rails, and then it kind of cuts away to that, and he's like, "Hey, I started a new life in New Hampshire, or where was it?"
I don't know.
Yeah,
Where
there are so
is-
many locations. I
Yeah, I
have
have no
no clue.
idea.
Yeah.
What
Where
do we have it
was
up over
he?
here? What does it say?
Yeah. He is in.
Just control
Doesn't
that.
say because nobody cares. Nobody
I
cares.
don't
Nobody
think it
knows.
matters.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares. Face
He starts
Somewhere
a new
far
life.
away from where they were.
Right.
He moves to a small town.
Florida. It was Florida.
No,
Right?
they originally
No,
moved to
They
Florida.
originally moved to
When he was
Florida.
a kid, that's where
When
they
he was a
were.
kid.
And why the reason they moved to Florida is because they didn't want to see another snowflake,
Snow
like
again.
snow
Right.
again.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I
I
like
like
that.
That's
that.
interesting. Yeah. But I like how Ewan McGregor like played the part of a damaged child who Danny was,
Right.
and like what he kind of went through, and like kind of his. I can see what you're saying about like an action adventure. Like it was like a loser who was just like, let's be a winner again, and it kind of went into that. But I don't know. I think his character was really cool, and especially when he worked at the hospice.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
did really like that.
Yeah, I
too.
did too.
And I mean, now that I hate for you guys to like, I'll be like, this movie's trash, and it to completely shift my opinion about this, but that was one of the big things that I did like about this, the whole hospice concept, and what's interesting is the cat that would go to rooms of people who are dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing. Did you guys know that? There's a cat. It's if you just look up Oscar the hospice
Like a cat or like cats?
a
just do
single
that?
cat.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's a famous cat. It's called Oscar the hospice cat.
Huh.
And it lives in a fucking hospice, and it goes to people's doors when they're like a day or maybe 2 days away from
dude.
dying.
Nice.
It's gotten to the point where like people were skeptic of it, and like now the cat is so good at picking when people are going to die that when that cat goes into somebody's room, they call the family of the person who's in the room. They're like,
Holy shit.
the cat's going in there, and sure enough, within the day that
Cat's
person
got
is
the
dead.
bag.
So it's based off of a real thing. I mean, probably loosely, right? But
Yeah.
so that was a really cool.
Did the
kind of
cat have a
thing they did.
name in the movie?
Yeah, I did.
I don't remember what it
though.
was,
Does
but
it
in real
say?
life, it's Oscar. Oscar the hospice cat.
Interesting.
Um,
I did like that. Did you want to say more things about that?
hmm.
I'd like to piggyback on that. The hospice stuff was cool because, and I don't know how deep we're trying to get here, but like it explored like a real theme, right? Which is like death. Like,
Yeah, I wanted to get into that a lot, actually.
yeah. Do you fear death? Like it's,
Right.
Ewan McGregor's character has this sense of like, well, I know the way that things are or seem to be for him and the people who shine and shit. And he can like see that like, well, I know that these kind of spirits tend to live on because I can talk to them and see them and shit like that. But he never tells anybody that, right? But he can see like the spirit dust, whatever you want to call it, exit the body and all that shit.
The steam.
And when he comforts people, right? The people who are almost everybody, I think every single person he comforts is really scared of dying, right? They're
Yeah,
like
and
on
then he
the
just
brink.
brings up a random memory or something, and then they just get like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
Get
And-
real comfortable.
And they see some piece of their life that made them feel good, right? And then they pass, which is like interesting to me because I was thinking about it. And I'm not like, it's not like, I don't know what to call this, but like I think about dying occasionally, right? And I'm like, dang, that's kind of scary. Like it's, I don't know, like it's just like it's a scary feeling.
I want to double down on what you're saying. Is like I don't know how deep we want to get. I want to get deep with this because I think this is really important.
Yeah.
So I remember being like a really young kid thinking about death and just being like, wait, what? Like we're gonna just die and like everyone's just cool with that? And I remember like thinking as a kid, like I remember like being in 7th grade and just having just existential crisis about like I'm going to die. Holy shit! No one else is freaking out about this. And then I remember thinking at that time, well, old people don't freak out about this. Like, I've had, like older relatives in my life that have passed and like, when you talk to them, you're like, they're not freaking out about it. So it's cool. Maybe I'm just young and stupid and I don't get death right now. But when I'm their age, I'll understand death and I'll be like, this is no big deal. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But I think what this movie did a good job in is like, it showed that some of these people like who are in hospice care and they're old people are like, here we go. We're gonna cross that line. We're gonna jump that.
Yeah.
And they were scared, and that was scary to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, old people are scared of death too. No, this is the only thing I was counting on. Like.
Well, and a lot of people.
So I loved that aspect of it.
A lot of people do have ways or things that they like instill in their lives as a way to like make death seem less scary.
Sure.
And stuff.
I mean,
and I don't know that I'm necessarily scared of death now because I've realized, like, as we've grown up, that life is kind of bullshit to begin with, and let's, get off this.
We almost fantasize about it.
Well, and that's a weird thing about our generation. I'll say this is like we do make memes about suicide. It's like a big thing, or not even about suicide, but about dying.
Yeah.
Like bring the death.
Wanting
quicker,
to die.
right? Yeah. It's like a real thing that happens.
Literally
right?
wanting to die.
And it's like I think it's a mix of like, other generations have had like their fun, and we are paying the price for most of their fun, and we see it more of like as like we're being robbed a little bit of maybe their time, right? Like the same amount of time that they're getting, we may not get, right?
Sure.
So that's something. I don't really care about that too much, honestly. But when I think about death, I'm just, like, there is times where I'm just like, whoa, like my brain kind of shuts down, and I'm like, I'm fucking scared.
Yeah,
of that,
when you're laying in your bed and like
Exactly.
you're like, oh
And
shit,
the
I'm gonna be
walls-
nothing someday.
The walls like start to close in, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck? But I do think that there is an element of like when you're old, when you live a full life, not a long life, but a full life,
Sure.
you can just be like, you know what, this is okay. I'm fucking tired of this shit for one, but also I've had a good run.
So that's
Let's
what.
go.
So what you're saying, like the full life, I think the reason why like they played into that so much in this movie is because you have the old people that Danny dealt with in the hospital, and then you have the vaping vampires that were taking children's life very soon. They didn't get the fullness of life.
But they're
so that's
chasing the long life.
They're chasing that long life because they're afraid of death.
Which
you see that later in...
you could make the argument that
Yeah.
that's kind of the theme of this movie in a lot of ways is the fear of death.
Yeah.
You have like older people who are just regular average Joe people who are fearing death, and then you have a group of people who are literally running away from death that are some of them thousands of years old. The grandpa had saw like Egyptians and empires.
Oh my god.
Can you
He like
imagine
fed
that?
on
was maybe
kings and
cheesy,
princes. No, that was
but
I
it
think
fits
one of the
into
most like, oh shit, that's kind of
Yeah.
like I kind of maybe want to
fits
see
into,
that
like-
maybe.
And he was fucking terrified.
Yeah,
about it.
really.
Still. You saw
But
the
he was-
Egyptian.
he was-
I'd be
yeah,
like,
he was just
shit,
holding
this was
on.
fucking badass.
Yeah, I thought like that was when she was like laying to rest. I was like, damn, this is like one of the more things that I'm like, oh, interested about. I was kind of like, oh shit, like that was kind of thought provoking for me. I was kind of like, oh damn.
And that's why, like, I think
wow.
this movie does it's worth talking about, and I think that it's not, like, it's, I would definitely say it's not as good as The Shining, but it brings up this theme in this conversation about, like, there's something here, and there's something about death that terrifies us all, and they play with the different types of characters who are dealing with death, and in one way or another, either literally dying, or dealing with people who are dying, or dealing with people who are already dead.
Right.
And so it like goes into a lot of that, and I think that's such a huge theme in just life. I mean, some people make the argument that the only thing that we do anything is because we know that we're going to die. The only reason we have kids, the only reason we strive for power, strive for higher jobs, like strive for money is like because we're going to die and we want to leave something. And like it's just, I don't know, I think this movie was, I don't know, it had a little bit of a tinge to that where it was like it's about death.
Yeah.
Did you get anything about that off the movie, Taryn?
Are you scared of death, Darren?
Actually,
love
yeah.
this shit?
Like I think about that a lot. I'm
I
just
think
like,
we all are.
I'll just stay home. I'm okay. Like I don't know. Just thinking about like all this shit that could happen.
Well, I mean, in today's climate, you know, like climate said figuratively, literally,
Right.
It's like we don't really know, right?
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
scary.
Yeah.
But like, I also think it's just and this, I think this goes back to the days when science fiction was becoming like a big deal, and it was all based in utopia. One day we're gonna have this grand life, right? And then there was a shift, and we saw like Mad Max and shit like that, where everything became a dystopia. And now everybody's kind of on the same page. We're like, this shit's going fucking downhill quick, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't have that. Like,
is literally fake.
people in older generations would like advance as a species and like for the next generation to live better, and we're over here just like, I don't even know if there's gonna be like a next generation. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a different conversation. But I think when the utopia thing was a big deal, it was also like when things like, I don't know, mental illness and shit like that were not talked about publicly, right? And I think this is one of those things that was also like kind of taboo. Like, death, we don't talk about that. Like, not for real, not
We're gonna live
in public, not on TV, not in movies, not in songs, nothing, right?
Yeah.
And to have it be like so just in your face, like, oh yeah, look at this is death. That was kind of like, whoa, I don't know.
Well, I think it came at a good time in just in society, as I think a lot of people, I mean, not to get too crazy religious with all of this, but you know, a lot of people back then were just, you know, completely religious, and they were just like, you know what, I don't really have to worry about death, I just have to be cool here, and then things are gonna be covered,
Right.
you know. But now a lot of people are kind of steering away from that, and it's kind of just like, we don't really know what's gonna happen, you know, like we're kind of just like, this is a little weird, like this
And
is,
we're also just losing the chance to be cool here. Like,
sure,
we're not, the next generation is not going to get the same shot.
right.
And it's kind of, I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird time.
Man, this is. I think
I
this
just
is
wasn't
good
sure how deep
conversation.
we wanted to go. That's all. You
Yeah,
know.
no, I
No,
don't.
that's
I thought we were gonna. I thought we all came here to trash this fucking thing. You're over here getting my feels and shit.
I know you guys have these sweet takes.
All my friends are dead.
I don't know.
Some
That's-
sweet ass.
that was one of the main.
You
things
guys
that
looked deep into this shit. I was just like,
I literally
this
did not.
movie's fucking whoa, fucking popcorn.
No.
Oh, just speaking of popcorn.
Did you get some popcorn? I didn't, and I regretted the fuck out of
Jay,
it.
Check
would
it
you
out.
shut up about the fucking?
We always go downtown. That's the spot we go to. The ticket's always cheap.
Yeah.
Because you're poor.
See a couple
Whoa.
bums, whatever. Hey, it's the same shit. Same shit. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't have cup holders under the cup holders. Though.
No recliners either.
It does no recliner. I don't need none of that. Cause I'm gonna
So- I
fall.
love the
Do you want me to
recliners.
fall asleep
They're
in the
actually so
movie?
uncomfortable.
We would
I
literally
fucking
be
love
Doctor Sleep in this bitch. But
He did it.
some guy in the freaking parking structure was like, "Hey, you guys going to the movies? Here's my freaking extra box," and he's like, "You can get a free refill."
Nice.
So we got a free refill of popcorn. Dang,
It
I
was
just
laced with LSD.
spit everywhere. We might have been. We were all like, "No."
Movie
No, it was
sucks.
empty.
Look
It
at
was
my hands.
empty. It was clean. It had the little freaking thing and everything. But
That's legit.
Yeah.
yeah, so
I
we
like
got
when
the
people
free
are cool like
popcorn, and
that.
then we're like, all right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Man.
Dude, all you guys came with these sweet.
No,
deep
really.
takes.
I didn't even come with. I just,
no,
somebody
I'm just
else
saying.
brought it up, and I was like, I thought about this a
The
lot.
only thing I could think of was just like, this is just Monsters Inc. the whole time.
what?
I didn't look up a
That's
single
a
review
sweet
about this
take.
movie.
Hold on.
Please expand.
Let's hear the Monsters
This is
Inc.
Monsters Inc.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Doctor Sleep is Monsters Inc. We're gonna freaking. We're gonna put that.
That's
as
gonna
the
be
title for
trending
this
on
next
Twitter.
one. Yeah.
Hashtag Dr. Sleep is monsters.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sue them. No.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Just every time they harvested some screams and that dumb ass face they had on their face, just like
That's what I'm
and I
saying.
was just like, this is so dumb, and it made me think of like why.
Think of that harvesting,
They-
and they had him in the little. They had him in the
Yes.
In the
little
canister.
thermoses. They're like,
Also-
just give me some of that vape juice.
It's true.
when she travels to the little girl's head through all the crazy shit, like
Yeah.
the door.
When she
and shit, I was
flies?
like, oh, it's like they go through the door to the little kid's
Yeah.
room.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's,
Here, okay.
that's the extent of
I
my
understand that a
Monsters, Inc.
lot of this
analog.
is cheesy, and that's why I opened up with like, you have to just let this movie take you.
Dude, I tried so hard.
You have like, and that's I mean there are criticisms, valid criticisms of this movie. It wasn't executed perfectly, but I want to try to like look in this deeper way. Maybe I'm trying to be like artsy fartsy and like, oh, this is so much more meaning than it actually
Well,
is.
maybe you're like pushing me into your side of things.
I don't know.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. There was a
You just-
lot to
No,
there was a lot
I
to
agree.
discover
you,
about this movie.
I think you debunked the 3v1 because I think you're taking
Yeah.
us all over. Because
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
like, well, fuck.
There was
I'm
a
like,
lot in this.
all right,
There
like,
was.
And it was like those were things that while they were happening, I was like, "This is interesting.
Okay.
This is interesting." But the movie as a whole just lost
Maybe you guys need
me.
to watch it again.
No, no,
dude.
no,
It
no.
lost me so many
I don't
times.
think I can.
That's the thing. I don't think I could watch it again. I don't really want
It's so
to.
long.
Yeah.
the
it's
CGI
long.
is so bad.
Well, I was also on 6
Just
grams of
like,
mushrooms.
Well,
No,
there
actually-
you go. No, so I feel like the movie dipped in like an opposite way. What does that mean? Like peaked in the middle. Like the first
Climax?
act and the last act, I thought were so boring. So whatever in the middle was like so interesting. I was like, this is unique. This is cool. And then when they got to the hotel, it was just
It felt like two different
changed
movies,
it.
you think?
Yeah, exactly.
It felt like
exactly.
two different movies, in my
It did.
opinion.
100%.
And that's where I got the fan film vibes from, because like it just didn't feel like cohesive. It was, they were just like, they had this really cool idea of like, it was kind of like an extended universe of The
Yeah,
Shining.
they
Like,
added
oh,
to
there's
the
all these
world.
other people, which I think they fell flat on that too. The fucking vaping vampires. There was like 40 of them, and then you didn't even know any of their special powers. Like each of them had different ones.
So
right?
here's what I will
like
say
the
about
the
that.
little girl who fucking viper people. She could like make you
Yeah.
do anything, but they didn't even go into the rest. Which the movie was long already.
That's
They
what I
didn't
was going to
need
say.
do
Stephen
that.
King is known for having the
But, like-
super drawn out
they all-
books. We've
Yeah.
talked about this in The Shining.
Yeah.
He doesn't shut up. He'll talk 10 pages about the color of somebody's dress, whatever it
Yeah.
may be.
Yeah.
But this movie just didn't have time to go there.
But
Yeah,
okay,
so I
so
feel like it
so
was rushed in some parts because
Sure.
of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so then
sure.
I want to
Yeah.
bring up, maybe we're going back to the action adventure film. What are they trying to do with this film now? Are they setting up this little girl to come back again and fight the rest of the vaping vampires in the world?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
You don't
I
think so?
I didn't get that. I mean, I think that they
You don't think
left
they're
it in
trying to
a
bring
spot.
something out of this
Unless-
a little bit more?
They
Unless he
could.
writes another
Keep
book
going
now.
along with it. She's a child.
Right.
She,
Yeah.
Well, and Dick told
she can keep
Dick
going,
told
I
Danny
think, you
he
know.
was like, you have to like whether you like it or not, you have to help somebody else who has a
and now
shot.
he's
And he
freaking
helped
Obi-Wan
Abra.
shadow figure.
Yeah, he helped Abra. Abra's gonna have to help, or Abra could help somebody else in the future. Like,
Yeah.
they left it open.
There is
for
a story
for
that could be
sure.
told, but I just don't know if they would.
I don't.
I don't
I don't
think
know.
they
I don't
will.
even think I
I
want
think
that.
they-
Because the movie's
That-
gonna flop, right?
No, it already
I don't think
did.
it's gonna do that great.
Go
I
up.
really don't.
And what does it mean?
it's
What did it?
Budget.
What was their budget?
It's not
45
there
to
yet.
55.
They're
It's
still
at
in the red.
37.
They're close.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
bad. If they,
Right,
even if they
opening
break
week-
even,
well,
it's bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
it's
don't
gonna
think
flop.
they'll make another one.
I feel like
I don't either.
They
I
missed
don't
it,
think that
dude.
they.
I don't
could.
want them to make another
no,
one.
I
too.
feel like they
That's the
missed the
thing.
release date by 2 weeks. Why the fuck would you watch this after Halloween? You know what I mean? No one cares anymore about scary movies. Like,
Well, it was
generally.
releasing Halloween in
Yeah.
Europe land.
Oh, in Europe. Okay,
Mm.
I didn't know that.
Well,
On
the thing is,
Halloween.
like, this wasn't a scary movie.
It wasn't.
Either.
But
That's
it was
true.
a sequel.
But
to
the way
one.
they
It
the way
was a
they
sequel to
portray
one.
it, the way they portray
Yeah,
it makes
it's
it
They
definitely
made it
marketed
seem like
as
it
a
would
horror
be
movie.
scary. I
American
didn't
horror
think it
film.
was.
They say it's not. It's not.
It was an
There's-
action
there's
adventure.
No
That's what
way.
it felt
I'm
like.
trying to think if there was anything that freaked me out.
The
I don't
fucking
think so.
flashing lights and it was all just weak ass jump scares.
I did. There was
You
a
know? Like
okay.
when they're in the hotel and like he's turning on shit
Yeah.
and it's like like it just
Oh.
like turns on all loud. That's the only thing that like spooked
I
you.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
There
rest
were-
was just
There were times where I was like, oh shit. Like, for example, when they were going through the hotel and then for a while they hadn't showed anything about room 237. They had showed like the door that had been axed down. They had showed the bar. They showed everything, and I was like, "Where's room 237? Where's room 237?" And then finally they show it, and like it just like draws you in. I'm like, "Here we go!" Like I don't know. I was.
But
into
it's
it
like
at
we've
this
already
point.
seen what that room is.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was the other
But-
thing. They showed, going back to they showing too much the old lady that's naked. They showed that like 5 fucking times, so it's like,
There's a lot.
Yeah.
not scared of this at all.
Yeah.
The first time I was like, oh my god, this is fucked up. In the first one, you
And
know.
well, that was
Yeah.
crazy because she wasn't old and she was.
Well, she was a
made
beautiful woman, and then
herself look
she
like that.
turned. Yeah.
That was fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this one, I was just like, and what I did, I mean, there was almost like comedic effect with Danny going in
At
there.
the ends. Yeah.
Slamming. Well, even in the beginning, when Danny goes in there and slams
Oh,
the
It
that
was
door,
just like, let's
that
fuck.
was
with
takes
a
it.
care of
creepy.
business. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
He's like, let me just box you real
Yeah.
quick.
How many shots were there of the fucking hand in the shower curtain? I was
There
just
was a
like,
lot.
oh
There
my
was a lot.
god.
There were.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried out real hard to be like, remember The Shining? Do you guys remember that? Right. Even some where like either the new, I guess we should say, the new Jack Torrance or Ewan McGregor swings the axe. Right.
Dude, when he's...
They would try those shots that they weren't even close to
Dude,
what
when
they did in
Ewan
The Shining.
McGregor-
They weren't even close.
did the axe, it was the same motion, everything. When he's walking backwards up the stairs,
Up the stairs.
she's even like doing the hands. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my god, they're not even like trying to hide it. They're just
He had
ripping
a
it
fucked
off.
up leg, remember?
I know. I was
And
like,
he
they
was
fucked
all
his leg up just for
hobbling.
this.
Oh yeah, when he got
I mean,
all
obviously
stabbed
that was all
up.
intentional, and
No, I know.
and
Sure.
it was supposed to be like obviously notable
But
because
it's
that's
too
such
much.
a
Hey,
famous scene.
you remember?
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
you were
just
saying,
like-
but you guys
I
said
that's
it.
all
appreciated
it took
I
We
me
loved
saw
it.
this recently. Not everyone saw this.
Yeah, we
Of
saw this like
course,
last
sure.
week.
Every
I
time
mean,
they did something like that, it just took me out, and I was just like,
But what I'm saying is,
I don't
No,
know.
because it was a
Fan film.
completely
Fan film.
different. It was a completely different interaction between completely different characters. I mean, before
like it was okay. It was interesting, and then she started doing the exact same motions and looking all crazy. I'm like, she doesn't do that, right?
I don't know. I don't know. She's.
It was
she's
almost
kinda
there. That's why I
crazy.
keep saying it was so close, but it didn't do it for me.
I
That's
mean,
one of
what
the examples.
got me is like, if you go back and you watch the axe, because those shots were beautiful in the original one. They're beautiful because they were weird and nobody did that. These really quick twist pans.
Sure.
To
With
follow
the
the
axe.
axe, yeah.
But he's in frame fully, but it's close, right? And in these other ones, he's like further away, and so the pan is not as drastic, and the result is like it's just this like little like floppy, little shit. It's not the same. It has not even close to the same effect.
Yeah.
And when I
There's
saw them
no-
like
there's-
trying to do it, and it's not just like they try to do it once; they try to do it like a bunch of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
and I was
there's
like, "What
there's
the
no
fuck
like
is this?"
noticeably beautiful shots in the movie.
Well,
Actually,
except
No,
for
I agree. I
Except for
disagree.
what?
I disagree.
there's a couple.
There were
the-
really
the
great shots in the
fucking-
film.
The girl
Out-of-body
flying in
shit.
the fucking
That was
sky, dude.
cool.
That was
The what?
it was cool. It was
when
cool.
she's flying next to the planet, just fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It
cool.
I would say that's a little cheesy, but it was.
No.
There
That
was
was
parts of it that were
like one
cheesy,
of
but there
the
was parts
worst
I was like,
things
"This
in-
is cool. I'm gonna
The
let
way
it
it
take me."
looked was cool. What was happening wasn't that cool.
Okay, I want to talk about that scene because
Okay.
I don't think it was
Yeah.
that cheesy. It was cool because when she's like, "Oh, I'm about to go fuck this kid up," basically, the camera is positioned on her body position. Her body position doesn't change in the shot, right? Whether she's flying vertically or horizontally to the planet, the camera shows you the one where her body is positioned the whole time. She's in the same position, right? But when she gets fucked up by the kid and gets blasted out of her
Flies away.
mind, the camera pans to the environment and her body is flying all over the place.
Right.
That was sick.
That was
It
cool.
was cool. It was a good shot. It
Yeah,
looked
that
cool.
whole. That's
It
what I'm
was
saying.
interesting.
The middle of the movie where all this stuff happened was like
Yeah.
so interesting.
I thought that was great.
There was another really good shot that I. Okay, so like when they first get to the hotel, or excuse me, when oh man, what is her name?
The hat lady.
hat.
God,
Rose.
I hate that
Rose.
fucking hat so much.
Yeah, when she gets to the hotel.
this is all I could think of.
Oh, Jesus.
That's all I could think of during
Okay,
that.
I'll take back everything I just said.
Okay.
James just ruined it for me. The whole movie.
For audio listeners,
No, even
clip
video
from-
listeners, they can't see this.
No, they can't.
They
They
can't.
can't see this on the
it's
stream.
a clip from
Because
the
that's
show.
not safe for work.
Ping
It's
Pong
a clip from the
Club
show Ping Pong
Propeller.
Club.
An anime.
Whatever.
All right.
They are being
That's-
propelled by their
It's the
wieners.
propeller scene.
Anyway.
That's what it was.
Another
That's
cool
hilarious.
scene was when she first gets to the hotel and the hotel is on fire, and like you see all of the all the windows are like boarded up, like they're like shutters, and like she stands in front of the hotel and like you see her silhouette, and then you see like the hotel like alive almost, like it's because they say like I mean
Is it on
Danny says
fire
like
right
he's
there,
going
or
in.
is it just lit up from lights?
Oh wait, I guess it wasn't on fire. No, yeah, it was just lit
Yeah.
up. It was just lit
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
I think later on it's on fire.
Right.
Well, like in but I don't know. I think that was just like a cool like single shot where it was. I mean, it was obviously trying pretty hard, but it was. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, so go
There
back
was
to the.
there was cool cinematography in the movie. I think.
I thought so too. When they
There was
so go
cool
back
spots.
to the flying or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Did you notice when they looked at her when she was flying the star? Like nothing was moving. Like she was just there, and then like but she would be flying across the world basically.
Uh-huh.
That
I
just
didn't
looked
notice
so
that.
cool. Like it looked like low budget, which was like cool.
Uh-huh.
It looked
Yeah.
cool.
Hipster over here.
Oh my goodness.
I just
No,
thought it was
I
low
liked it.
budget because it was low budget.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't particularly. high budget.
$55 million low.
Oh.
I liked that sequence a lot. And then her hand getting ripped, I was like, oh,
Oh,
here we
that shit
go.
was sick.
That was
Some
good.
fucked up shit.
That was good.
And I agree with you.
That was
It
good.
kind of climaxed in the middle, and then it maybe fell off a little bit and didn't deliver as much.
When
towards
when
the
they
end.
kill the
Yeah.
little boy, that shit's brutal. That's
Yes,
like one
yeah.
of the
That
most
little
brutal
boy is
murder
a
scene.
fucking badass
ever.
actor. He's
Yeah.
in that
Oh,
Seth
it's
Rogen
terrifying.
movie with the Good Boys or whatever.
Oh really?
He's really good. Like in
Is he one of the
anything he
main
does.
kids?
Wait,
Huh.
the Seth didn't he just produce that? The boys? Are you talking
The
about?
Good
sh-
Boys.
or something.
Oh, the good.
It's
The
a
Good
movie.
Boys.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about the
Yeah.
show.
It's like
Seth-
Superbad, but with younger kids.
The kids
Alright.
are even younger. That's where we are.
I was thinking about the
So-
boys. The show on Amazon.
super bad.
But he's real good in that movie. And so I read a little bit about that because the kid is good in that one thing. I hadn't seen anything else. Apparently, this happened on set. The kid did that scene. Like people felt fucked up after that scene because they just killed this kid and he like acted that really well, right? So apparently in real life they were acting that scene out, and the actors that were killing him were getting like fucked up. They were like, "Oh,
Oh,
my God,
Jesus.
this is fucking crazy." And
They're like,
the
I don't feel
kid-
so good, Mr. Stark.
Exactly.
They're just like, what the
And apparently the kid gets up and he was like, "Okay, I think we're done here." Walks off. His dad's
That was
sitting
a
on
good
the
take.
sidelines, and he was like, "Yeah, we can leave." And they just left. And I was like, "Oh my
They were
God."
just done
And the
shooting.
cast is like vomiting.
That
They're
scene,
like,
that scene,
Jesus
because the cast
Christ.
was like so fucked up by it, and the kid was like, "Yeah, I know, that was pretty
that was
fucking
great.
crazy."
That's good.
I will say the acting in this, I did appreciate. Like Abra, I think did a great job.
Oh no, she
I
was
thought
good.
she was good.
She
yeah.
was
And that's
really
that's
good.
why I was bringing it back. I was like, she has a freaking. I think she has a lot of
Good career
potential.
ahead.
Oh,
She'll
for
be out in
sure.
Good
she
career
definitely.
ahead.
She has to be.
I mean, this
is
might just be
amazing.
some random thing that she might come back to later on in her life as an
Yeah.
adult,
Yeah.
like
Right.
a random thing. Because I feel like Stephen King might just fucking shit out another novel.
Yeah, I didn't realize this came out in
Till he dies,
2013, dude.
Yeah, this book came
Yeah,
out in
it's not very
2013.
recent. It's really
So
not.
who's to say he's not just gonna
Wait 20
Yeah.
more years
out
and
the side
yeah.
and just
Yeah,
here you
he's
go,
like
here's-
Professor Sleep.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
I
Shining.
did like that her name was Abra. That was cool.
yeah,
I also loved the spoon scene.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
That was sick. It was
Yeah.
sick because not only were it showed them all on the roof, but they all fell.
That was like a
That
fucked
was
Yeah.
up
sick.
noise. It was like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I was like,
crash.
oh,
Yeah.
what would that sound like? And then they showed us, and I was like,
Yeah, we haven't gotten into the music too. Is I mean, they
Ah.
used the bom bom
Yeah.
bom bom.
When it
like-
first started, I
it
think it does it right at
just-
the beginning,
it's
right?
really-
I was like,
yeah,
ooh,
it gets
I
you
got,
in.
like, I got hit. I
But
But
got
it
hit
shows
real
it,
good.
it shows it to you, and I think that's what I liked when they're driving to the hotel. The first time in the film, or excuse me, in Doctor Sleep, everything is ominous already, and from The Shining, everything was like bright and like. I think somebody mentioned last cast where it was just like if a different soundtrack was over that, you'd be like,
Oh.
this is a happy-go-lucky
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
But this time it was like we mean business, we know what we're getting into, and it was kind of like
Yeah.
it just
See, I
worked.
feel like that was another like with the references is like they didn't go too hard into it, in my opinion. Like they
That-
either could have done way less or just went way harder on it.
Yeah.
They didn't do it like
and
enough.
they delivered I think they delivered what they owed to the movie in the end of it, like what they owed to The Shining. Like it was just like we're gonna show you what you kind of came for, what you know from The Shining,
Right.
but we're gonna like tell a story first, and then at the end we're gonna say like here's
Yeah.
what you kind of
When
were in for.
ev-
I'm
towards
gonna be
the
right
end,
back though.
they hop back into the maze, right? And I was
In
like,
his head or whatever.
no. Well, maybe it isn't in whoever's head. That part was kind of fuzzy to me.
Yeah.
But when they're in the maze, again, with the final, what's her name? Rose?
Hat lady.
I was like,
Fedora.
because it was, I could
Top
feel
hat.
it in my internal clock was like that we're towards the end of the movie, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, last chance, give me Frozen Jack Nicholson again.
I
I don't
thought
care,
they
give
were,
me
dude.
something.
Yeah.
I thought one of the boxes was gonna open and he's
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That
And it
fucking
wasn't,
face.
and I was just like,
Yeah,
okay.
they should have. Maybe they should have. But then maybe if I saw that or fucking digged at a point, I would be like, fucking
If
stupid.
that was how we got him, was
I
him
would have knocked it
frozen,
up a couple. No.
You think so?
I'd have been pissed. I'd be like, this is fucking bullshit.
I don't know.
Dude,
I did love the going back to the bar. That was awesome.
that was the best use of old The Shining stuff, I thought.
Mm.
It was also the
It's like
closest
you knew
we
it was
had.
him and it was not showing him. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, like
But
it's him,
Not
right?
only we knew it was him, but Ewan McGregor also knew it was him, even
Yeah.
though he wouldn't reveal himself, right?
Uh-huh.
What I really liked about that scene is that the lead up to it was the most Shining-esque cinematography we got, where
Yeah.
it's the slow, like, kind of turn the corner and we're panning the hallway, and then you see the sign and you're like, oh, we're going back into the fucking gold room
Yeah.
or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
I was like, this is
yeah.
cool. And it's almost the same shot as he walks up to the bar. as
Yeah,
the
there was
first
one. I don't know if it was there before or whatever, but it looked like the tricycle scene, but it was
Yeah.
just behind Ewan McGregor's head. I was like, oh shit! Like it turned the corner with him, but it was just
Yeah.
right above him, like third person.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, like a little throwback in a more
Yeah.
subtle way.
They should have done more of that than anything else, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take one. Take something.
Yeah, sure. I'll take another one.
2 more White Claw.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, like, what do you think about the bar scene? Like,
That was one of my favorite scenes, I think.
It was a good scene.
Is it playing back on that? Maybe I should hold this for fucking Velociraptor.
Oh,
Over
we
here.
Is he talking shit about me?
Yeah, I'm talking shit. I'm talking a little bit of shit.
We're
So-
talking about the bar scene.
We're talking about the bar scene.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna hear
Jay said he wasn't that sold on it.
Wait, you know, I agree. I think that it was weird seeing somebody who was trying to be Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
Well,
I
After seeing,
but what about the substance of
What's her name?
of the conversation and everything else? Like, does that play
It's so
back
good, I
with
thought.
your theme about life and death? Is this like a turning point for Danny, where he chooses life rather than being a slave to the alcohol?
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, right.
Cheers.
And on that note,
As we slave ourselves.
no, I
Alcohol
think
is just terrible. Just terrible.
it's not that I didn't like the scene. I did like it.
Was
I
it
thought
too preachy for you?
No.
Was there too
Well, no,
much
'cause
of
there's-
a like very direct theme and like a very like
Okay,
I feel like it set it
what
up.
was trying to be said
It
was
set
just
it up
fucking
well.
If
very
you want
like
to say that, the whole
you know.
movie was like too on the nose.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
scene
Too
in
on the nose,
particular was just like okay, you kind of understand that all of these things that are following Danny, all these like bad things, are just like the demons that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then this was just another demon he's dealing with. It just happens to be
Mhm.
also his father who like tried to kill their entire family. But I don't know, maybe it's the nostalgia and all that shit worked for me there. I thought that was cool. I thought it
That
was great.
scene was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I was waiting for his dad to say the N-word.
Yeah?
No, that random scene in The Shining where he just drops the hard R.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
not
no.
his
like
dad.
When it's set in the
It's-
20s or whatever.
It's one
Yeah.
of the it's the
not
last.
trying to defend it. But
So what it is it's the last guy who killed his family, right?
yeah, in the bathroom.
In the bathroom,
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I might have missed that.
Unless the bartender's the one who kills the family, but either way, whoever does that crazy shit, they're now a part. They're now the bartender. They're now the freaking guy.
They play a role in the hotel. That's what
Okay,
was cool
so-
about
I
the
think
first
so,
movie
yeah.
to me.
At the beginning, he's like, I thought it was just a picture or something. What are they talking about? Am I stupid? When he's talking to the chef on the bench, the little kid, Danny, at the very beginning. He's like, you said it was just a picture. It can't hurt me.
No, he says a picture in a book. because in the first Shining, when he explains to him the things that he's seeing and feeling in the Overlook, he's like, "Oh, you don't gotta worry about those. There's like a picture in a book." But
I thought it was trying to refer to the picture of Jack
His
Nicholson on
dad.
the
At the
wall
end.
somehow, but I was like, doesn't really
Yeah,
make
no,
sense.
but he never like saw it. Well, who's to say he didn't see it actually?
Yeah. I was kind
Since
of
he
hoping
sees
it would
things.
like give us just a little piece of that.
I thought he was
too.
going to be.
I
One
thought
of
they
the
were
dudes
gonna
that
show
comes
the
out of
picture
box.
again.
They
too.
could
Yeah.
have. They could have
I
wrapped it
kind
back
of
in
wanted
the
that.
They could have added him. He's just
If anything,
Yeah.
like,
That'd be wild.
you
just add Dan.
no,
hanging with my dad.
no, but he didn't die like in,
I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
in horrible
Right.
circumstances. He
Well, he
redeemed
was burned
himself,
alive,
which is
so.
the big theme. Is that he got his life back by.
Damn, is that ironic? His father froze to death and he burned to death, dude.
Whoa,
So-
the story of fire and ice.
But it's like the opposite because you think fire evil.
Oh,
What
yeah.
I was reading is that
Shit, I just think.
I don't know who it is, but in the first book, that's how Danny dies.
No, wait,
Jack
Danny
dies?
or Jack?
Danny doesn't die in the first one because they made a second one about him.
No. Danny doesn't
Is
die in the
he
first one.
Okay, so
Jack
it's
dies. I was telling you guys in the
In
last
the boiler
podcast
room?
is no. Jack fucking axes himself in the face
Oh.
To save his.
in the book
I
to
did-
save Danny.
I did read something
Oh.
about somebody burning
That sounds
burning
better
in the
than.
first book.
Yeah,
Or maybe in
How
Doctor Sleep.
drunk were you
Maybe
guys?
it's in
I
Doctor
literally
Sleep.
said this.
Well,
Uh,
I mean,
Can we look at that? Can we look that up?
But yeah, do you think? I feel like that's another nail in the coffin of them not going back to this. Is they burn the whole fucking hotel down. Without that, it's like, what is this series?
but they
Well,
didn't
people still
even
have
need
the
it in the
show.
first place. I don't think.
Exactly. Yeah.
They didn't even need to go there because that's why I said it felt like two movies. It
Yeah,
was like,
it did. It did.
what the fuck's the point of all this? Oh, we have to use all my demons to get her.
There's a place.
Yeah. They're all like in fucking New York or wherever they were. They were in Ohio at one point.
Yeah.
He's like, we're in Ohio. And they're
are we
driving to
going?
Colorado. It's like
Why
fucking
Colorado?
48-hour drive.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, there was a lot of travel.
Yeah. So
I guess
yeah,
another theme of the movie is traveling.
it says the boiler explodes, killing Jack and destroying the Overlook
in Doctor Sleep.
In the book, in The Shining, yeah.
in the Shining book.
Wait,
See,
what?
That's what I thought.
So this is kind of dumb,
Maybe
Stephen
he's bleeding
King.
out
Did
from
you
the
forget
accident.
about this?
Yeah.
I straight up thought
because
he
they were
axed
trying.
himself.
Well,
They were
maybe
trying
they
to
never
throw
went.
back-
Who's to say they went back to the Overlook in the book?
I'm sure they did. Yeah, but in Colorado.
Astral projection.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Dan releases the steam collected from whatever.
Oh,
the
look.
remaining group of
The ghosts of Jack
Vaping
Torrance
vampire.
push Rose off an observation platform.
Oh,
That
that would have
would've
been
been
a
cooler.
little
Oh.
That'd have been cooler.
redemption, dude.
This is actually way better. How did she die
Well,
in the movie?
also
I don't
that's-
remember.
Dan sees his father wave goodbye. I don't like that anymore.
It's also
He's
like
up there just.
Having finally found peace.
it's also Star Warsy. Darth
Dude.
Vader throws the Emperor into the pit. Jack
No,
does
you know what else was Star
Rose
Warsy
off
about
the
it?
shit.
It was like, you're getting tired. Like that whole thing is just like, these aren't the droids you're looking for. I was
Kill
like,
yourself.
really? Like,
That was
it's like these aren't the
Well,
droids
yeah,
we're
that's
looking
what-
for.
That's what I was saying when he went to like the Force. He was the Force ghost now.
Yeah. That part was
He
I
was
was
like
like, this is
such a
very like
phoenix.
the Forcey kind of.
But see, okay, so that's what happens. Jack dies in the boiler room. The place blows up, goes into flames.
He
Dies in a
he
fire.
dies in a fire.
So
essentially.
that I
So
did,
there was no hotel in the Doctor Sleep.
Well,
Is that-
that's
is that
what
what
I'm
that
wondering.
implies?
Like how different are the two? I don't
Yeah.
really
Okay.
know.
So it says where the Overlook Hotel once stood,
Oh, that's right.
now
did
home
read about
to a
this too.
campsite owned by
True Knot is the
is
vaping
the
vampires.
vampires.
What the fuck? That's
So-
so different.
So they were like feeding on the vape of the hotel.
What,
That's actually way better than
yeah,
very
anything,
different.
honestly.
what I
But
read,
I mean, they didn't destroy
They had-
the hotel in the movie, so it was kind of
Yeah.
like
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. They could have.
Uh,
They could have.
It was
It wouldn't have been a
Kubrick's
good
fault.
idea, but
Dude,
they
I
could
thought
have
that- I
disconnected
thought that he
themselves
asked
from the
himself
first
in the first
movie.
It was
no, but
Kubrick's
then
fault.
nobody would care
That's what I'm
because
saying.
it's such a
It's the
pinnacle.
wrong choice, but they
Yeah.
could have done that.
I did read that instead of it taking place at or near the Overlook, it was the ruins of the Overlook.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is kind of
I kind of.
I don't know. It's
Okay,
kind of
here's-
interesting to find this out with everyone around. It's kinda
Someone who read the
interesting.
book,
Here's a-
tell us in the comments why it's better.
Here's a question.
Sounds better to me.
Here's a question for the group. What do you think about the concept of the shine, or what it means to shine, or to be able to see others who also shine?
It feels cheesy, but when they were saying like everybody has a little shine, it's like when you just feel like some random thing like
coincidence.
Everyone has felt that in life normally.
Yeah, when something falls off the table and you accidentally catch it.
Yeah.
I was
like, they said in the movie,
like it's just that, but like concentrated times 100 fucking in your brain.
Yeah, they said in the movie they're like some people have a shine and they don't know it. Like when the husband comes home to his wife with flowers and she just happened to be having a bad day.
Yeah,
and like. I don't know, I think you could kind of say that about like life, like when you're thinking about somebody and they text you or like whatever it may be. Like all the time this happens to me. My mom is like, I'm texting my mom like, hey, did you want like to have dinner sometime? She's like, I was literally texting you right now. Like stuff like that happens.
See,
like, it's so weird.
I like that they connected it to like real life in that way. And it didn't feel so out there because of that.
So yeah, because it kind of brought you back a little bit where it was just like, okay, some people have the shine where it's like they can read other people's minds or they could do X, Y, and Z, but everyone has it a little bit, and some people more than others, and some people don't even know that they have it at all, kind of thing.
I like that.
I like it too. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any other big themes or anything that we want to go over? I think
I don't know. I just keep thinking of scenes that I'm like, damn, like the shootout in the fucking woods or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah,
that was brutal.
Wild.
That was fucked up. I was like,
where they're just dying.
I was like, they're not gonna die, and then like, it's like kill yourself, and that guy fucking shoots
Oh,
himself. I was
that
like,
was
whoa.
fucked.
That was probably the best part of the movie, like by far.
It was
brutal.
It was brutal because
Eyes
right
like
when he
balls.
said it, right when she said it, I was like, "Oh fuck!"
No,
to
when
Jacqueline.
Danny was like, go away
"Oh,
from her, you're like, he's dead.
No,
like,
I didn't.
Danny
I
said that he's
I
going
know,
away from her. I was like, no.
but I didn't expect it like that
I was
quick
like, fuck.
and just
that.
like,
And Abra's dad being dead, I was like, he's not dead.
yeah.
He's like incapacitated in the house.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
no, he did.
I like when he was just like, she's 14, man. Like, you fucking sicko. Like,
okay.
And then she was like, zap his brain. He was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I
Things
like
like
that
that.
He was like,
they addressed it a
damn.
couple times. Like
Things
the
like that
weirdness
is
of the
why I think
situation.
the movie, like, I think they did a good job of saying, like, we get that this is kind of ridiculous, so let's throw in some real shit.
Yep.
It's gonna be like, hey, some 40-year-old with a like 12-year-old girl is weird as fuck.
Right.
Let's address that and like bring it back to reality for
Yeah, they did that a couple
They did a
different
good
times.
time. Yeah, like several times, and it was like
It was good.
That was
I appreciated that.
Uncle Danny. Just
Yeah.
like, damn,
Uncle Danny.
met him on fucking AIM chats.
Jesus. Yeah.
But yeah, those and that, okay, back to the shooting scene. I was like, all these fucking vaping vampires have all these secret ass fucking powers, but not one of them could fucking hit a single shot on those two.
That's dude. And so I started.
It's any movie.
They
man.
must have been fucking stormtroopers in a past
That's
life.
what I was gonna say, dude. Bring it back to Star Wars.
Yeah, bring it
Motherfuckers
back.
A long time ago.
Yeah,
Dude, how many movies have you seen that the bad guys are a great shot?
you never. I mean,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's not.
Except for
It's
when
just
you
way more
take over their
noticeable
mind and they
nowadays.
shoot themselves.
Well, yeah, then you just say like kill yourself.
But it's
That
them
was
that's a
brutal.
great
That
shot
was cool.
still.
That was cool.
Right.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so we touched that scene.
What do you guys think about the whole vaping vampires on the whole?
The vaping vampires.
I like the concept of how they like fed and stuff. I just
Yeah.
don't like the way they showed it.
It looks so bad.
They
Every
should
time they
just-
like it looks so stupid.
If they coulda
dude.
just,
It's
like-
it looked like CGI smoke. If you took it away,
Yeah.
it just looked really stupid. You
Yeah.
know?
Sure it was.
No, why did they have to color their eyes like that?
Yeah,
with
that
those
too, that
random
too.
ass paint circles on their eyes.
That
like
was
they were
probably
like,
some detail in the book that they just had to keep. You know?
No, I don't know. Honestly, they should have just sucked on them, and that would have been fucked up.
Like actual vampires.
Yeah, like actual. Well, I didn't even know they were vampires until I read the wiki just right now. They called them vampires.
Oh, did they?
Yes,
Well, they feed off of like human
quasi-immortal
life
vampires.
Oh, I
And I'm
thought
just-
you said that, and I was
Well,
like, all right.
Well, no, I added vaping because
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
they're vaping vampires. Yeah. Then I'm just like,
There's the
I didn't
spin-off.
even think of them as
Dude.
vampires, but like, if that was gonna be the thing,
I was.
then they should have just sucked them. But like,
Yeah.
there's always that term, your last breath. So like, that's
Oh,
of course,
okay.
obviously, like what it is. Doctor Sleep. It's all about your last breath, like things.
Which
putting,
brings us back to the
putting-
whole theme of death, right?
Yeah.
Like to,
putting things to rest. So
Right.
Yeah. And,
Like it was
and running away
fine, but
from
they
it.
called it Steam.
well, because
That was
they
weird.
didn't. I feel like
It's like weird.
That's
they
the
didn't
street
meet up.
name, bro.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't meet up. They didn't decide on a name. They just that's just what they called it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like a slang term. It was
Are
like,
you guys interested in wondering like the history behind the Steam? Like when we were talking about that fucking granddaddy vampire homie, like that was kind of like, it was kind of interesting to me
which
a little bit.
granddaddy? What are you?
The
Like
oldest
grandpa?
Oh, the old
vampire.
guy.
Like, are you guys interested in like learning about like where did the Steam come from? How did they figure out that they can like harness that power or anything like that? Like,
See,
I don't know.
like
for me,
you guys might not care.
I
I
think
thought
it
that
gave
was kind of
enough.
interesting.
I think it gave enough, and I think
You
it
think
said like
so?
this has been something from the beginning of time
Yeah.
because they talk about how people these days their steam isn't as hot or whatever they call it because
Yeah.
they're being dosed with all these pills and because what
Well,
they're
they
saying
talk
is
about like on smartphones and shit like that. They throw
right,
little lights
but they
in
say
it.
like we need to find this girl before her parents think she's crazy and
Yeah.
they dose her with these like antidepressants or antipsychotics and
Right.
Yeah.
and it like dims out her steam so they need to get to her before that. So I think this is something that's been happening since kind of the beginning of time.
Yeah.
People have always had steam.
To answer your question, I don't really want to know about
Yeah.
the history, only
Yeah.
because it explains it too much. It
Yeah.
explains
Yeah.
the shine.
Okay.
and
I feel like
all
I
that
was.
too much.
I had enough.
Is it too much action adventure?
It's
Like,
too action
go to the
adventure,
back.
man.
Let's see.
I feel like I had enough at the end of The Shining. Like this was too. All of this was too much.
Yeah. But if they went that way, then it would just be like, okay, well, that's what they're fucking doing with this. But they,
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't have done that.
I agree.
So maybe just to wrap it up, yeah, I mean, when we're talking about like the vape stuff, like the CGI was horrible.
It was
The
for
little-
some reason.
The little chests in Danny's mind were just like some like weird flash game. It was all
I know.
just
That
like,
was weird.
like let's just throw some
Felt like opening loot boxes or
spirits in there.
something.
Yeah, it was like.
I liked
I just
the-
like it was so awkward. Did they need to show that? I mean, I guess, but why did they show it like
Conceptual thing
that?
they were
Because
like.
that's how he.
He like conceptualizes
So was
them
his,
locked into
his
something.
mind was the maze?
Right, and then he
It's him
releases the demons.
Dealing with the
Yeah.
demons, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked the concept of the idea, but I didn't like the way that they showed it. It was
Yeah.
just like weird, and
That's fair.
Yeah.
I liked it though, the concept. It was weird how he released them to eat Rose, and then like they immediately went to like try to kill him, but then he doesn't die from them.
Well,
Oh.
When all the
people
original
in his
demons
brain.
come
Yeah.
out, yeah.
He just opened up some boxes, man. Simple.
Like, did he need to do all of them? Maybe, I guess. Rose
he
is
died,
portrayed
right?
as powerful. Well, he dies in the fire. He doesn't die to the demons.
Maybe
But does he put him back? I don't think he puts him back. I don't know. That part was weird.
there's the next sequel.
They're
Dude.
put to rest. No, well, the freaking swamp bitch gets put to rest by Abra. Remember? That's the last scene of the movie.
What swamp is?
The
Oh, the
fucking
tub.
Oh, the
tub
tub lady.
bitch.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
she's
She
still out.
looks swampy.
Dude, that shot. Let's
Yeah.
end it on that. I thought like when she was talking to her mom and like she had just finished talking to Danny in the room, and you're like, oh, Danny is actually dead. And then she walks out and like she's talking to her mom, and you could when it's focused on her, you could see the bathroom doors open, and like there's a bathtub and like it's open to
Yeah.
you know the bathtub and the toilet and everything, and like the curtain was just halfway open. I was just like, oh man, like here it is, like it's
Yeah.
it, again, and then I don't know, did you guys feel that too? Like was that?
I didn't notice the
Well,
door because
I
I was like,
noticed.
I was
I
actually
noticed
really.
it opened so much. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
I was actually
that
really into
bathroom.
what she was saying because she was. What was she saying? Like, she was gonna lie to her mom. Like, no, I wasn't
and she
talking
was
to no
like,
one.
"No,
she was
I
like,
actually am."
and she's like,
Yeah.
they're still there. Like, it's okay, whatever. And then like
Yeah.
her mom was like, made her feel better, or whatever. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is nice.
Yeah, she's like, Dad's there too. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everything's
we all
cool.
Gucci.
Which
Where did her
brings us
mom go? All of that time.
I
While
don't
her
know.
dad
Probably
was
to
getting
insane
She
stuff.
was at
That
home
shit was
chilling.
fucking hardcore.
It's just,
I was like,
she was just out for groceries and then came home to her dead ass husband.
Yeah.
I guess.
But I think the end it brings back to the whole theme of death, where, you know, the young girl, like, she's kind of the voice of reason to her mother. She's like, something happens when we die, and I can
That's okay.
see her friend Danny, and I can see Dad too, and like
Yeah.
it's okay, and like it just kind of like wraps it up really nicely, and I think like
yeah.
there was just I don't know, and then it shows, you know, like the bathroom door that's open, and like right when it started, I was like, oh shit, like there it is. There's that shower curtain, and then sure enough, it kind of opens up, and then she goes in there just like Danny did
Right.
as a kid. I thought it ended really nice.
To speak to that, like that is part of where the movie did well. Is like a common thing in filmmaking is like when you're gonna show something, it better have a fucking reason.
Right.
And there's a lot of this movie that
And
didn't.
it did that every
right?
time.
There's a lot of this movie that didn't. But that one did, because we did see Danny do this before.
Yeah.
We saw it again. That was cool. There was another shot of the house early on. You saw the house outside in daylight, and you're like, why do we need to see this? But then they show you the house again later at night, and you're
She's
like,
like
oh, yeah,
astral
that's the house. That's
projecting.
her house.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's
yeah.
that same concept. But so I did like that.
Similar to that, or I guess along with that, I was hoping so bad that there was a fucking reason for that stupid ass top hat, dude. I was like, there has to be. Why does she not let them touch it? What is
It's
this?
to attract children.
The hat?
I don't know.
I hated it
The
so
magician
much.
guy?
No, the girl.
The
Rose's
girl.
hat.
Why didn't
Top
they let
hat.
anybody touch? Why didn't she let anyone touch her hat?
Oh,
Why did
is that
she
a
always
thing?
have it on? She looks,
I think she
hated
played
it.
that
I
part
guess
really
I
well
didn't pay
though.
attention.
Like I think
No,
it
she was good, but I was just like,
I hated her.
take this hat.
You didn't like her?
Get rid of this hat.
No.
I hate it so much.
I hated the whole cult.
I feel like that's one of the details from the book that they were just like, oh, we gotta keep it. And I'm just like, no, just
Right,
get rid of
let's
it.
not end on an asshole note.
Whoa. I'm just kidding. But
Fighting words.
I don't know.
Well,
I just wanted to
ratings?
get that into this.
I think I won. Did I?
do we want to do some
No.
ratings? Well, let's
Alright.
find out.
Let's jump into the ratings.
Start
I'm not
with
gonna
you.
go first. I'm not going first.
you have to
Start
go
with
first.
James.
Because-
We'll come around.
Okay.
Me?
No.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm ready to.
Oh,
I'm ready.
Jesus.
I'm ready.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Convince me why this movie wasn't trash.
I don't know if I can
No
do
one
that.
can do that.
So like I said, the first and third acts were not great. The middle was really interesting. I liked it a lot. I wish they just stuck to their own ideas and followed through with them instead of just leaning so hard on all the references and all the nostalgia. I mean, they could have done a little bit. They leaned on it way too hard. I don't know. I don't regret watching it, but I didn't like care to. I would never watch it again. You know what I mean? It was just super average in my mind. I give it a 7. I started at a mid 6, but your conversation, Adrian, knocked it up a few little points.
I appreciate
Schmeckles.
that. All right.
Few
I guess I'll get
points.
into it then. So, I opened up this episode by saying like, you have to let this movie really take you, and a lot of the stuff is just really woo woo and really like, okay, like magic's happening, but it's also in the real world, and other people in the real world don't understand this. But I think you just have to be like let's go into this and just really experience it for what it is. And maybe it does over explain what happens in The Shining, and I think that it does do that, but I think it does it, for me, I think it does it well. And the whole theme with death and how it just kind of like really brings you into to look at that like human experience a lot more deeply, and it does that throughout the film. Is like you have people who are dying, people who are dealing with people who are dying, and then people who are like running away from death, and all of these different relationships between all of them. I think that it does it well, and I don't know, it was just a fun movie. I think they paid good tribute to The Shining and the hotel scenes. I have to give this movie an 8.5. I think that's where I'm going to land. I think I gave The Shining a 9.5. So I mean, this wasn't as good as The Shining for sure, but
Yeah.
it was a good movie. I enjoyed it all the way through. I would watch it again for sure. 8.5.
Okay. I'll agree in that this wasn't as good as The Shining. The Shining kept me on, the edge of my seat for
Yeah.
the whole fucking movie. They did pay good homage to The Shining for the most part. There was parts that were overdone, all that shit. The story lost me a lot of times. Some of the scenes were beautiful, and some were just like they felt throwaway-ish, or like they just had to do something here. But I do. The story of The Shining, The Shine, and all that shit, like talking broadly, not about the movie, but about the concept, I really like it. So it's hard for me to just slam this movie with like something terrible. And Ewan McGregor, I don't think I've ever seen a bad movie of his, but
Dude, shout out to his English accent. Pretty good.
Dude, Hick,
Yeah, it was
did you
good.
see? Did you catch some of his British coming out?
Once or
A
twice.
little
yeah.
bit. A little
don't know
bit.
if
There
I
was a
did.
little bit.
I think
He was like Schwein.
Shoya.
I don't
Where are
really know. I don't really know exactly what it was, but
I think ultimately, I will give it like, and I liked the concept of death. That was the most interesting part of the whole movie to me.
I got him.
yeah,
But I still think it's like a 6.
Oh.
yeah.
6.
Ooh, okay.
And it's like maybe a 6.3.
Okay.
Maybe a 6.3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm like right up there with Jay. I just want to go back to like this felt like such a fan film to me. Like it felt like let's go back into that world and let's take the cool things that everybody knows about and then throw our own shit into it. But it was like they didn't even have to do that because I think that their stuff that they brought, like their stuff that they had with like the shine and that there's more people and there's people who are trying to steal the shine. I kind of liked it. Like it wasn't a horror film, it was an action adventure film.
Yeah.
And once I figured that out, I was just like, all right, I'm along for the ride. Just tell me the story. And there was really just nothing to say about it except for like we have to kill the baddies.
Yeah.
And that was just like, all right, okay. And then like the parts with The Shining, I felt they were tacked on somewhat in some way. Like they just didn't like that random scene where she's smiling at the bloody elevator.
that
Like
was
it's just
bad.
like what?
That was
It's
bad.
like okay,
It's
we
like,
see
oh, yeah,
it.
there it is.
All
It
right.
reminded me of that Bender. It's like neat. Takes a picture.
Yeah, it's like great. She's I don't know. She's like, oh, I feel the power in this house. I mean,
Yeah.
no tell. Like
Yeah.
she's like, I feel it. Like
Right.
it's, I don't know. It doesn't really.
That
It
was
just
bad. I think
didn't
they did
do
that
anything
bad.
for
They
me.
did
It
do
was
that
bad. The CGI was freaking horrible. It was really, really bad. The best part of the movie was the acting. The little girl has a freaking career ahead of her.
Oh yeah. She did
Ewan
great.
McGregor has a career ahead of him. I've never heard
And
of him before.
And behind him.
I've never heard of him,
Yeah.
so he's got a bright future. And like that was like a big redeeming factor. But like all in all, I was pretty fucking entertained with the movie. Like I was like pretty like I think Jay said like there were some really good parts. You're like, oh shit, what's happening? Like what are we
Yeah.
doing? What are we getting into? And then it was just like and
Some
they
guy
just
just
didn't do
blasts himself,
anything.
yeah.
And but you can't say that like for a moment you were kind of like, all right, you got me. Like
Sure.
what's going on?
Sure.
What like show me a little bit of something. But I don't know. It just all kind of just fell flat. 6.5. That's a review.
Have I ever rated a movie?
Under an 8.
That's what I'm saying. Is there's
Well-
10 numbers in the scale. There's
Well,
more
no,
than just
I'm just
the top
saying, like,
fucking-
have I ever not been the highest rating? I think I've rated every movie the highest.
I think so. Yeah, I think
Maybe
you're
that's
right.
true.
I don't remember.
Man, we need to watch a movie I hate.
Yeah, but just remember 6.3 is above average. Above
No,
5.
it's not.
It's
dude.
hard to think
Five
like
is
that.
not average. I can't think of it like that.
Well, okay, it's above
I think
the
of a 5 as a
median.
failing grade.
It's above the median. I'm not giving it like a
No, I
F.
understand.
Yeah, it's
Or
just how I
D or
think of it.
whatever.
too. Yeah.
You gotta go my anime list ratings.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
It's not a bad rating.
What?
Way of rating that way?
Yeah.
Like the words that are
The
associated with
words
each
that
number.
are associated with each number.
See, I didn't give it a 1, a 2,
Sorry,
a 3, a
did I
4,
put
or
it-
a 5. I give it a 6.3, which is
I was
closer
gonna
to
go
a 10
that
than
low.
a 1.
What did you rate
You
it?
changed
7.
it. 7.
7.
I was gonna go
Okay.
6.7 or something.
Alright,
You-
I'm like
Yeah,
noted,
I
I'm
was
like a,
I was like between a 6.5, 6.7.
Yeah.
I was kind of like,
I'm like a
Take
whole
it back.
standard deviation
because honestly,
above you
I
guys.
don't know. I was like, this is entertaining, but I was like,
Good movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
but
it's-
overall, I was just like, it's not very good.
Take it back
Like,
to the action adventure point. It was a little bit more Harry Potter than it was Insidious, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sure.
A little bit more Harry Potter.
compare more to
And
that
that's
than
why I was like,
Insidious.
are they gonna fucking make a trilogy out of this fucker? Like, let's get it. Like, that's what I thought they were gonna fucking little abracadabra over here was gonna
Yeah.
go on a fucking adventure.
This
and
is book
fuck
2
all the
of
vegan
9, so
vampires.
strap in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I
God.
thought. I was like,
The last one's 2 parts though.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think to wrap this up, what did we rate it on average? It was kind of split.
I would
7
say
maybe.
7.
Probably like a 7.5.
7 is-
maybe.
7.3 is
Which
average.
I'll take. But
That's
we'd
not
love to
bad.
know what you guys think. If you guys thought this movie was dog shit, like all of these guys did before I went on my philosophical
6 is
rant.
not dog shit. I don't think
It's
so.
dog- I mean,
It's
it,
not
it was
dog
going to be a
shit is-
4 until
dog
I
shit's 4.
said that this movie had to do with
No,
never
no,
wanted
no.
to give it a
I,
4.
No, I know. I'm just.
I don't
kidding.
think you twisted my opinion that
No, no, I
much,
know.
actually.
Good,
But you,
I'm glad I
but
didn't.
you let me like see a different point of view.
Sure.
But I don't think that's what they were getting at.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a.
I don't know. Everything's intentional. That's what.
Yeah.
That's what I'll stand behind. But
Yeah.
we would love to know what you guys think of this movie. Yeah, comment anywhere that you can comment, and
Email?
yeah, email us, whatever.
What is it? What is the email?
Filmfumblers@gmail.com.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
simple. There you go.
We've got, send us suggestions. Send us who you hate the most. And
Snide remarks.
maybe who you like the most. too,
But
if
definitely
you're at it.
make sure to hit us up on twitchtv.com/Rigmarole Productions. That's RIGAMAROLE Productions.
We're probably going to change that.
That might be
Yeah.
changed actually to Film Fumblers.
That's a little. It's a little.
So it might
hard
just
to
be
find.
Twitch TV or Twitch TV
.com/filmfumblers.
Twitch.tv/filmfumblers.
/filmfumblers.
We wouldn't call it the Film Fumblers if we didn't get a little drunk at the end. So.
Okay.
A little bit.
Twitch.tv.
I'm about to crack open another White Claw.
.md
Let's
slash-
fucking wrap this shit up.
All right.
James
All
Mike's
right.
golden over
Cheers.
here. Let's
Cheers,
All right.
guys.
Cheers.
I'm over
farewell
this
until
motherfucker.
next time.
Farewell.
Oh.
Shine on.
Oh my god.
Shine on.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Goodbye.